Okay, so in this example, I'm going to talk about the RGB LED. Key thing about this RGB LED is essentially there's 3 LEDs built into the one. So I have 3 anode pins, one for green, one for blue, and one for red. And then I have one common cathode pin, which is our ground. I need to get power and ground to my breadboard. I'm going to use the 5 volts of power from my Arduino. I'm going to grab ground as well. So right away I can give a resistor to our cathode pin down to ground. And that'll be the common ground for our RGB LED. So just to show quickly how this works, even before I get into the code, if I give power to one of these pins, you can see that if I give power to the green pin and I start my simulation, you can see that my RGB LED turns green. I can also do the same thing with blue. So again, if I use my blue pin and give that power, you can see it also switches to that color. Interestingly, I can give power to multiple pins as well. So if I use green and blue and I light that up, you can see I kind of get a greeny blue color from LED. So I can combine and blend colors, which is nice when I'm using this RGB. So I can really pick any custom color that I can provide it with PWM. I'm just going to show you a first example with digital rights. So if I wanted to light up red, green, or blue on my RGB LED. So I'm going to start by hooking up each of these pins to an output pin, and I am going to pick a PWM output pin, as I mentioned. That way I have the option to do either digital or analog output. I am going to put these in a little bit different order so that it follows the red, green, blue. So I'm going to put red to pin 3. I'm not going to use a red wire. I'll use pink, just so that it's different than my power wire. So you can see that I have red hooked up to pin 3. I have green to pin 5, and then blue to pin 6. So I stay in the order of R, G, and B. So in my code, just like any other code, we have a void setup and we have a void loop with the Arduino IDE. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the pin mode. So I can send pin 3 to output. Just to show very simply, I can do a digital write to pin 3. I'm going to make that high, just to show you very quickly that I can, in fact, turn on that pin to red. I'm going to do the same thing. So this is my red pin. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to set the pin mode for the other 2 pins. So I have pin 5 is going to be my green. Pin 6 is going to be my blue. So I'm going to set pin red to high, which we know means on. When I'm writing to my RGB LED, I generally write in groups of 3. That way, if I had previous high or low values for those colors, I make sure that I'm turning them off when I'm trying to switch to a different color. So in this case, I'm going to turn red on, and I'm going to turn green and blue off. So those are low, so they are off. I'm going to delay for a second so that we can actually see that. And then what I'm going to do is do the same thing, but I'm going to switch it so that it toggles between the three colors. So I'm going to do this set of write commands will turn the red on. And then what I'm going to do is turn red off and turn green on. So I'm going to switch pin 3 to low for red. I'm going to switch pin 5 to high for green. And then again, I'm going to do a third set of writes. And I'm going to turn red off. I'm going to turn green off. And I'm going to turn blue on. So in this case, what I should get, red should be on, then it should switch to green, then it should switch to blue, and then it'll cycle through that because it's in my loop function. So now you can see that I'm lighting up each pin individually, turning one high and the other two low so that I get it cycling through those R, G, and B colors. The other thing that's nice is I can blend colors. So right now in this example, I did digital write, but because I'm using these PWM pins, I can actually use analog write instead. So what I'm going to do instead of doing digital writes, I'm going to say turn red on to full. I'm going to turn green off completely. And I'm going to turn blue off completely. So this should give me red still, just to show that I have full intensity on red and the other two are completely off. So you can see that I have red on and the other two are off. If I turn both red and blue on at full intensity, I should get kind of like a purple hue. So you can see that I get purple. So any of the combinations that I do in terms of color, I can use any color picker online or in Paint and try to figure out any blends of color. So if I turn them on at different intensities, you can see that I'll get slightly different hues. So it's still purpley, but it's a different hue. If I mix in some green, you can see that I'm starting to get different colors. It's kind of a gray blue type color. So it does allow me to kind of pick any color I would like and give that combination. Just like if you've done any programming before with graphics or web design with colors, you can pick any color and produce that with the RGB combination. So using analog allows me to blend those colors and get any color I would like.